Hello everyone, this is Asian with Jeep, and welcome to my Black Ops 4 weapon guide. For the 33rd episode, we'll be taking a look at one of the reserve exclusive special weapon, the Reaver C86, the crossbow that launches the silent projectile bolts. In multiplayer, the Reaver C86 is placed under secondary special weapon, alongside the ballistic knife. It is unusual in that it fires 2 bolts per trigger pull. Like ballistic knife, damage is uncompromising, as the bolt will kill an enemy within one hit, regardless of where it lands. And this damage is preserved at any distance. Note that the crossbow in Sticks and Stones game mode is different, as it fires an explosive bolt, and must be reloaded after every bolt fired. The bolt is subject to a parabolic arc trajectory, with range drop begins at medium distance, and it also has a slower velocity than bullet-based weapons. This means that you need to lead your shots on target by aiming above or ahead should the enemy is moving or further away with the crossbow. There is no penetration with the Reaver. The bolt will stick to any surfaces, including enemies. Interestingly, recoil does exist with the Reaver, and it is quite high when firing from the hip, and this will cause 2 bolts to land in randomized pattern. When aiming, recoil is more controllable, but the kick from the first bolt will send the second bolt slightly higher than where the first one lands. The crossbow is a lightweight weapon, and so the aim time is fast at 200 milliseconds, and you move at 100% of the base movement speed. The rate of fire is slow despite firing 2 bolts at a time. The rate of fire within the burst is around 400 rounds per minute. It does come with a small delay between each burst, so your overall fire rate is much slower at 240 rounds per minute. Hip fire spread is really good, as the bolt will land precisely where your reticle is. Firing from the hip up close is a way to go with the Reaver. Despite the slow output, you have 6 chances to hit someone, as the magazine side is good at 6 bolts. With the 2-round burst mode, however, this will equate to 3 shots, meaning that the magazine can be emptied very quickly if you're not aware. Note that you don't get an extra reserve magazine, but the fired bolts can be picked up right where they land. The extended magazine will increase the capacity to 8 bolts, or 4 bursts. Reload time is okay, as you need 2.3 seconds to refill the magazine of the crossbow. The Reaver C86 is a specialized weapon, and its silent report of the bolts can be used to eliminate the enemy without appearing on the radar. It does make a distinct noise when fired, which may alert others nearby. Note that the trophy system is your greatest threat, which will disrupt the crossbow's bolts that travel within its radius. Thankfully, this equipment is not commonly seen except in Safeguard. Given that the range drop of the crossbow begins within medium range, our class loadout will employ the Reaver as a primary at closer ranges, where we don't need to worry about range drop at longer distance. There are 1 optic and 3 attachments available. The compact scope grants 1.5 and 4 times magnification for long-range usage. Unfortunately, you still need to aim higher at this distance to compensate for range drop. If you are looking for a silent long-range weapon, the suppressed sniper rifle may be a better choice. The iron sights are sufficient enough for the crossbow, given that we will be employing this weapon at closer ranges. Other 3 attachments consist of stock, extended magazine, and titanium bolt, but we will be using just 2 of them. Our first pick is the extended magazine, which increases the magazine size from 6 to 8, or 4 bursts. The greater capacity can make a difference when facing multiple enemies within quick succession. 2 extra bolts can be a lifesaver if first 6 fail to kill. The second attachment is the titanium bolt, which permits a faster travel time and flatter trajectory. While the range drop will still be present at medium range, the faster travel time does come in handy at any distance. Keep that in mind that against a fast-moving target, you still need to aim ahead. But with this attachment, you don't need to compensate so much. Nonetheless, the faster velocity means that the bolt will meet the enemy's flesh quicker for a faster time to kill. For the gear, choose the stem shot for a faster heal and recovery of our health. Essential for any aggressive playstyle, as close-range gunfights are time-sensitive. The faster health regeneration will permit us to get into gunfight quicker. If you are patient and be able to wait for the heal meter to fill up, you can choose the acoustic sensor as a replacement. We will be using 3 perks to round up our stealth abilities. Our first selection, unfortunately, is made by compulsion, given the short supply of bolts. Scavenger is our first selection that will allow us to resupply 1 magazine when picking up blue packs from dead bodies. Note that the Reaver C86 will not store more than 1 extra magazine in reserve, so be sure to pick up those packs when you're reloading. The last 2 perks are stealth orientated from the 3rd tier, Ghost and Dead Silence, with the perk 3 Greed Wildcard. Ghost will allow us to disappear on the enemy's UAV while sprinting, and Dead Silence will muffle our footsteps noise and reduce the effectiveness of the acoustic sensor. These perks synchronize very well together with our class, as we can silently run around with a crossbow undetected. The last 2 pick 10 points can be spent on the primary of your choice with an attachment, another perk, or another secondary with the underkill wildcard. My choice was the melee weapon, as oftentimes I have found myself running dry with a crossbow, and the one-hit kill melee weapon comes in handy in order to surprise the enemy up close, while maintaining stealth advantage. And that rounds up our Robin Hood class, ready to frustrate your opponent without making a lot of noise. The closer you are to the enemy, the less you need to compensate for range drop and travel time. Firing from the hip should be a primary mode of attack within close range, but aiming is viable if your foe is further away. While our class consists of the titanium bolt attachment, you still need to aim ahead against moving targets, even up close. But with enough practice, you get used to the crossbow's projectile and be able to naturally deliver your silent bolts with precision. Overall, the Reaver C86 crossbow is silent and deadly. The projectile bolt will end the enemy's hope of getting an easy kill on you for using the unconventional weapon. Landing the bolt is another matter, as this requires practice and calculated precision due to the parabolic arc and travel time. You also need to watch out for the trophy system, as it will completely destroy the bolts traveling within its path, rendering the crossbow useless. The unique 2-round burst does increase the odds, but the magazine can be emptied very quickly, even if you hit all of your shots. While it does not fire an explosive bolt like in Sticks and Stones, at least you will not show up on the enemy's radar when firing the silent bolt. Paired with our stealth class, it is easy to harvest multiple enemies that are unaware of your presence. Like the S6 Stingray with the Operator mod, you won't be making a lot of friends when using the Reaver C86 crossbow. And that concludes the guide for the Reaver C86 crossbow. This is Asian with Jeep. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.